Welcome to ACOS, All Kinds of Stuff, the podcast that, just like its host, has a hard time focusing on just one thing. So we talk about a little bit of everything. Glad you're here. Let's get this party started. Welcome to ACOS. This is your host, David Ritchie, and I have two special guests with me today. This is our first episode with special guests, and I'm super happy that my first two guests are my sons, Logan and Hayden Ritchie. So I'm going to let them say hi, tell you their age, anything they want to tell you about themselves, and then we'll get going. All right, Hayden, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Hayden. I'm 13 years old, and I go to, I'm in middle school, 7th grade.
All right, Logan.
Hello, I am Logan, and I am 11 years old.
And where do you go to school?
Lubbock, Cooper Central.
All right, so me and the boys, we went over how long was it, guys? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks.
A 3-week period, we went to the Alamo Drafthouse to watch the 20th anniversary Lord of the Rings. Now, Hayden one time had sat through an entire marathon of the extended editions. Hayden, how long were we in the theater that day?
About 11 hours.
And the biggest thing that I remember about Hayden is everything he ate. I'm going to see if he can remember any of the dishes he ate. Because I told him that day, I said, okay, since you're here with me, you get unlimited budget. As long as you eat it, you can order it. So, Hayden, just kind of run us down some of the things you think you ate that day.
All right, about 3 pizzas, and a burger, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I like pizza.
I think you might have had a milkshake, maybe?
Yeah, they had like a special milkshake there that day, so that was good.
All right, so Logan missed out on that, and that's something I wanted to correct. And so I looked up a few weeks ago or a month ago, and Alamo Drafthouse was playing them, not in a marathon, they were playing them once a week, the extended editions. And so Logan got the same benefit. He just didn't get it all in one day. He got to eat whatever he wanted, and he did some damage the first time. I think, what'd you eat, Logan? 2 hamburgers?
I had 1 hamburger, a pizza, and chips and queso, but that was for both of us.
All right, and then the second time, I know he and I ate 2 chips and quesos. I know that the second 2 weeks, the first week, Logan pretty much stayed on his cheeseburgers and pizza. He did add a really good milkshake the last week because he had a vanilla milkshake, and at Alamo Drafthouse, their vanilla milkshakes aren't normal vanilla milkshakes, are they? What do they taste like, Logs?
Cinnamon.
But that last week, he ordered, I don't even remember what it was called. It was a holiday milkshake. Do you remember what it was called?
Peppermint shake.
Yeah, it was like a vanilla milkshake with peppermint chips in it. And then Hayden discovered, what'd you discover the second week that you just devoured almost endlessly for the next 2 weeks?
I discovered the magical food called fish and chips in tartar sauce.
He actually asked me the first time he ordered it, what's tartar sauce taste like? And I was at a loss for words. I don't know how to describe tartar sauce. I really didn't think he liked it. But did you?
I mean, I ate like 5 of them, so...
I'm assuming that's a yes. Okay, so what we did the first one was on a Saturday, and we watched Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. And these were the extended editions, and they also had interviews tagged on to the end of them with Stephen Colbert. I believe the Fellowship of the Ring, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that one had the 4 main hobbits as interview guests at the end, correct? Uh-huh. Yeah, the second one, so that was Samwise, Frodo, Merry, and Pip.
Yep.
The second one had, y'all have to help me remember on that, I think Aragorn was there?
Yeah, and it had Aragorn. It had Aragorn. Oh,
Logan, do you remember anybody?
It had the
Aragorn.
Galadriel.
It had the other Legolas, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And it had the other dwarf.
Gimli.
Gimli, yeah.
Yeah.
Gimli.
And then it may have had Galadriel.
Yeah.
I think. And then the last week, it just had 3, but obviously it had the director. And who directed Lord of the Rings, boys?
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. And it had Gollum, Andy Serkis, and Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Gandalf. That was the last week. So I'm saying all that to say we spent about 5 hours in the theater 3 weekends in a row. The first one was on Saturday. The second 2 were on Sunday. So this is our first movie review podcast. We've done some other stuff on the other one. So I've just got 3 or 4 questions I'm going to ask these guys now that they've seen Lord of the Rings. So we're going to start with Logan. All right. And I'll kind of say, Logan's giving me a dirty look here. I'll kind of say what I'm looking for. So my first question is going to be, of the 3 movies, who were your favorite character? And I don't think I can say who was your favorite character because I don't have just one. So I'll try to tell them to limit it to 3-ish. Okay, hold on. Logan is grabbing the mic, but do you already have your answer? Okay, I'll give it to you. Who were your, and tell us why. Not just who they were, but tell us why.
My first favorite character was probably Sam because he helped Frodo. And my second favorite was probably Gimli because he was cool.
So you had just 2?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. Hayden, are you ready to answer this one?
Yeah, I think I am. So, I believe that my third favorite is probably Pippin, because Pippin's really funny. I think second place is Gimli, because he's also really funny. And I would say first place goes to Sam, because, he's just an awesome person.
Okay, so I'm going to take both of them having Sam up in their top characters, and I'm going to ask them both the question. And I do think that's one of the beautiful things about Lord of the Rings is there's not just one character. Like, I would probably have Aragorn up there. But I love the Legolas. I love Gimli. I love Sam as well. I love Gandalf. I have a hard time picking any of them. What, Logan's got something?
My third favorite was actually Vormir.
Was who?
Vormir.
Oh, Boromir. I did like Boromir a lot. Okay, so Logs is readjusting himself here. We're using one microphone here because since I'm brand new to this podcasting, I have not purchased extra mics, so we're all kind of leaning over one. But both of them had Sam, so I've got an interesting question for you. So I would think most people that just skim through Lord of the Rings don't really know it. They just know the story. Think Frodo is the hero. Okay, and I'd like to ask these guys, and we're just talking, getting the ring to Mordor and getting it thrown in the fire. Do you think Sam deserves more credit than he gets, or is Frodo the true hero? I'll start with Logan here. What do you think about that?
I think that Sam should get more credit than
Look, why?
Frodo.
Explain.
Because if he wasn't there, then he would probably be dead.
Wait, who would be dead? Frodo or Sam? Or all of them?
Frodo would be dead probably.
All right. Hayden, what do you think about that?
Well, I believe that he gets more credit, not just because Frodo might have died, but because he also helped Frodo. He's cooked his food, right? He carried him, literally carried him up the mountain to Mordor, and he also got Frodo to throw it in the fire eventually. Technically, I mean, not really, but yeah.
Okay, so Logan. Mm-hmm. Logan's got donuts in his mouth right now. I'll go Hayden first. Logan, quit running off to the kitchen. I promise I won't keep you here too long. All right, Hayden, give me your overall thoughts on Gollum. Not just, okay, so you can take this 2 ways. What did you think about Gollum in the movie, like how they portrayed him with the motion capture? How did you like that? And then go back to the same thing we just asked with Sam and Frodo. Do you consider Gollum a villain, or do you consider Gollum a hero?
Well, it's kind of weird because how I see it, Gollum has 2 split personalities. It's Gollum and Smeagol, right? So Gollum is the side that the ring turned him into, and then Smeagol is his old self before he killed Deagle. How I see it, Gollum is the real villain, but Smeagol is a hero being tempted by the villain. And so I don't really know what to say on that, but...
Well, I think that's a great comment. What did you say? He was a hero being tempted by a villain, and in this case, it was just interesting because the hero and the villain embodied the same person, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Logan, what do you think? Smeagol or Gollum? Villain or hero?
Well, it's really just sad because he has split personality, but I think same thing as Hayden. He's the hero being tempted to hurt the other people.
Okay, now they don't know I'm about to do this, and I'll be the example of it first because we did this on our way home from Return of the King. But I'm going to give, and I'm not going to make them. I'm hoping they do this. We're all going to give our best Gollum impression, and mine is the worst by a long shot. All right, here I go. Like, I got to clear my voice. Boys, y'all get ready. I got to clear my voice, clear my throat. My precious. That's as good as I can do. That's all I got. All right, Hayden. Hayden's got a little bit of throat soreness right now, so he has a really good one. This may not be his best shot, but let's give it a shot. All right, here we go.
Get into his precious.
No, dang it.
Not bad. Call him. All right, Logs. Logs has got to get water in his mouth before he does it. All right, here he goes. Are you ready?
Precious.
Very good. You want to do one more? Is that it?
I'll do Smeagol.
All right, do Smeagol for us.
I will never hurt master.
I got to say, today Logan wins. Now, if Hayden felt a little better, he probably would be able. Do you want to do another one? Are you good?
I don't know. Here.
Okay.
I'll try it.
He's going to try one more.
Filthy hobbits. Give us the ring.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so two more questions. Here. Okay. Favorite one scene. If you cannot narrow it to one scene, just give me two. Of all three movies, what do you remember the most? Like when I ask you, okay, guys, we just spent 3 weeks at the Alamo Drafthouse. What's a scene that you remember really, really enjoying? Or two. One or two. All right, Hayden.
So, I don't know if you would really call it a scene, but I guess it is a scene because Sam says it. He says something really important to me. I think it's right after they start going to Mordor, right after they leave the Shire. Sam says to Frodo, he's like, I told Gandalf I wouldn't leave Frodo, and I don't mean to. And so that was my favorite part.
Okay, tell me why. Because I agree with you. That's a great part. Why did that stand out to you?
Because it's not just, he did it not just because Gandalf told him not to leave Frodo. It's because he cared for him and wanted him to live, if you know what I mean.
True friends, right?
Yes.
Like more than a true friend. I don't know that I have a friend that would do that for me. Do you?
Possibly.
So you have a friend that would leave school tomorrow, go on, just pack some bread, nothing else, go on a month, or actually a years-long journey to a volcano full of fire. Well, Hayden's actually reading the books right now, and I'm old, so if my memory's wrong, like I told you on the very first episode, I'm not an expert on anything. But you're telling me you got a friend that would follow you to a volcano with fire in it, with some creepy little monster following y'all around, with the ring race, who are also my favorite characters, following you and trying to kill you. You got a friend that would do that. I'm impressed.
Yeah, probably.
I'm impressed. Okay, Logan. Favorite scene or most memorable scene? Something that when I talk about Lord of the Rings, it pops into your head. Like, I really liked that.
Probably it is when the very start of Return of the King, where he finds the ring where they're fishing and they start fighting.
So the flashback.
Yeah, the flashback.
Why'd you like that one?
It's just memorable.
Okay, memorable. Why? Because you got to see how Gollum
became Gollum.
Did you like? Okay, so not just the fishing scene, but that was pretty crazy, right? How they showed him turn physically and mentally from Smeagol to what was pretty much a monster.
Yeah.
You liked that?
Not really.
Why? Because
it was weird.
It was pretty weird. Okay, last question for my sons. I'm going to let Logan go first. Okay, and y'all, I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about this, but I want a ranking. All right? Favorite to least favorite. with the understanding to all listeners that all three of them are all really good. There's not a bad choice. This is like Friday the 13th part 1 through 4. You can't go wrong. Okay, but I would say before going into this rewatch, which I've seen them 100 times, for me, I would have said going in, I would have probably had them ranked Two Towers, followed by Return of the King, followed by Fellowship of the Ring. I found myself enjoying Fellowship of the Ring a lot more this time, or maybe I've always enjoyed it, but I just remembered how much I liked it, but it still stayed third. But this time, I'm going to tell you, I enjoyed Return of the King a little more than Two Towers. So for this last, most recent rewatch, number 1 for me is Return of the King. Number 2, Two Towers. And number 3, Fellowship. Two Towers is strong for me because I love the Battle at Helm's Deep. I just think it's one of the coolest, most claustrophobic battles in the whole thing. I like the Return of the King one, but it's so wide and big. There's something about being cooped up in that in the fortress of Helm's Deep that I really like. All right, Logan. So give me your ranking, and if you could tell me why, I would love to hear it.
So my number 1 is probably Return of the King because it's just action-packed and pretty cool. And then my second favorite is probably Fellowship of the Ring because it has it shows all the characters and like how they began the adventure. And like my least favorite one is probably the Two Towers.
And why? I loved your reasons on the first two. So
Because because it really just is boring.
And I agree, I do like Fellowship as they introduce the characters, and Return of the King is so strong. All right, Hayden, rank them up. Fellowship, Two Towers, Return, and tell me why.
Okay, so I feel that the first spot probably goes to Fellowship, just because I just love how calm, but the lingering feeling that the next two movies are going to be the worst part of their entire lives. It's just like the calm before the storm, you know, and I like that. I like that feeling that it gives off in the movie. And so my second is I would say Two Towers, or no, Return of the King, sorry. Mainly because Faramir, definitely, because he's literally one of the best characters. And I just like to see, kind of literally a storm, like I was just talking about, the calm before the storm. Literally, because the Cloud of Mordor, reached Gondor, pretty sure that's what it was. But it was someplace in Gondor. But, so that leaves Two Towers at my bottom of my list. Mainly because I'm not saying I dislike it, because it's very good, but I just feel that it's kind of just filler, or some of it is. It's kind of just Frodo and Sam are just walking half of the time, which is good, but they're not doing anything, if you know what I mean. It's just them walking and being hungry half of the time. And don't get me wrong, the Helm's Deep was really fun, but I feel that Return of the King and the Fellowship are a bit better of movies.
Okay, so as they say their goodbyes and as we sign off here, the last thing I'm going to ask them, and this is an official question, is not an official question, but who do you think won? All right, so the whole time they're counting how many people they get, Gimli and Legolas. All right, and I know that the elephant counted, that still only counts as one. All right, so Logan, who do you think in 3 movies ended up getting the most people, Gimli or Legolas?
Legolas.
Why do you think Legolas?
Because he got an entire elephant.
So the elephant didn't just count as one; it counted as much more than one.
Yeah, because he shot more than he didn't just destroy the thing. He shot like 5 people.
Oh, that's true. There were a lot of people on the elephant, weren't there?
Yeah.
All right, Hayden, who do you think won?
Well, I think Gimli won, mainly because at the end of the Battle of Helm's Deep, I'm pretty sure he was sitting on a corpse, right? And Legolas, I'm pretty sure they had the exact same score, but Gimli said that this one was still alive because it was twitching. And, no, they had to tie actually. You know why? Because, whenever it was twitching because he had the axe in the head. And Legolas said it was still alive, so he had more points than Gimli. It's only twitching because I have its axe in his head. And so, I'm pretty sure they had a tie, but yeah.
I think that's a good way to end it. Okay, Logan, come say goodbye. This will not be the last time you hear from my two sons. We are going to find some other movies to review later on in life, but I am very happy that the first episode I had with guests were the two most amazing guests that I could have possibly had. So, Logan, you can say goodbye, and I will see you next time.
Goodbye.
And that's all you want to say? You don't have any parting shots? No parting shots from Logan Ritchie. Okay, Hayden. Oh, he's giving us parting looks more than parting shots. All right, Hayden.
Thanks for listening, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, these guys will be back. And this was an exciting episode of ACOS. The movie reviews, movie podcasts are kind of where I eventually want to hang the hat of this episode. But and I also think that's where I'll try to have my guests. But again, I was so pleased to get to have Logan and Hayden on there today. You guys have a great week. And if you haven't ever seen Lord of the Rings, you're missing out. And I don't know, Hayden has a friend, and his name is what, Hayden?
His name is Quest.
And it's odd because with a name like Quest, and I know the kid a little, and I really like him, but he has, what'd you say?
So he has not, okay, let me count these real quick. He has not seen Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, The Muppets. He hasn't seen any of those. And so just think about that for a second.
So if Quest ever listens to this, you need to get on that. Now, Hayden, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings are obvious. We at the Ritchie house are big-time Muppet fans. Would y'all like to do your Muppet voices before you go? I'll do my Fozzie Bear, and then if y'all want to do it, get over here. Waka, waka, waka!
Kermit the Frog here.
Hold up.
Hayden's clearing his throat.
How does the Rainbow Connection start?
Why are there so many?
All right. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side?
Perfection, guys. Thank y'all for listening. Oh, Logan's got one more. Let's do this.
One question for you.
Okay, Logan has a question for me. Let's do this.
Can you show them your British accent?
Logan wants me to show off my British accent because, Logan, do you want to hear it because it's amazing?
Yeah, it's really, really good.
All right. I can say one word, one phrase in a British accent. Are you ready for this? Do you want to pick what I say?
Say, chip chip cheerio.
Chip chip cheerio. This is Harry Potter here. Okay. Harry Potter is all I can really say with the British accent, but chip chip cheerio.
I also tried to do a Pippin impression.
I don't remember if I done a Pippin impression before?
Scottish.
Oh, I'm not even going to try. Harry Potter. That's all I got. Guys, thank you for listening. Y'all have a great week. You have been listening to ACOS Podcast, All Kinds of Stuff, with your host, David Ritchie. And I sincerely want to thank you for stopping by and giving us a chance. The music you hear now and the music you hear at the beginning of our podcast was done by my 13-year-old son, Hayden Ritchie. And everything I do is inspired by not just Hayden, but my other son, Logan Ritchie, as well. You can find me at Twitter, at ACOS Podcast. That is capital A, capital K, capital O, capital S, capital P, and everything else is in little letters. At ACOS Podcast. Feel free to follow me, reach out with any questions you have. Have a great week. Thank you for listening.